everybody, this is Teal Apostate and welcome back to my channel. Now you may have seen my last video, a pretty humorous take on the Fujoshi. And yes, before we go any further, I am a Fujoshi. But I want to get serious for a minute and address some of the issues with Fujoshi culture that don't often get talked about. So a bit of background before we get started. For those who may not know, a Fujoshi is a girl who is essentially highly interested in the portrayal of male-male relationships. This is most commonly in the form of yaoi or BL, which is boy x boy, manga, anime, novels, even dating sims, but it isn't limited to just that. Literally the word Fujoshi means rotten girl, and I think it comes from the root word for pig, but I digress now. And if you're wondering if there's a male equivalent, yes, the term is fudanshi. So for someone who is a self-declared Fujoshi, you may be wondering, how can I have a problem with something if I am one? Isn't that hypocritical? And essentially what I want to get at here is that there's a line that shouldn't be crossed that all too often is. And I really want to separate the Fujoshi like me, not to say that I'm perfect or anything, and the Fujoshi I would deem problematic. Searching the internet will reveal that among any fandom, shipping is real. Whether the couple you ship is canonical or simply slash, shipping can be a pretty intense, sometimes violent occupation, and is more often than not centered like a homing missile on any sort of male-male relationship. As a Fujoshi, the way I always understood it was, if I'm going to consume romantic or sex-based media, as a straight girl reading a straight male-female romance, I'm only ever going to be attracted to one partner, the guy, so I might as well engage in media where both the participants are the gender I find attractive. That way, I'm interested in seeing both of them in a sexual scenario. More bang for your buck, so to speak. I'm not sure if women are more predisposed to shipping than men. I do know quite a lot of men who are just as enthusiastic about their ships as women, but I see a greater number of female shippers. I'm gonna stay off of gender norms and gender-based socialization in this rant, but essentially, there's something about two guys in a relationship that really gets women enthusiastic about it. I'm not sure if it's an invested emotional interest in a specific couple that causes a Fujoshi to get all doki doki, or if it's just the basic premise of two men in a relationship. I know that continued interest in the latter can eventually transition ships into the former kind. But if it always just starts out as that basic interest in the gays, then is that really anything to be excited about? And if so, why is that a bad thing? Well, it has in short to do with the fetishization of gay men for the consumption of straight women. And I know, yes, men do this as well. Lesbian porn has been a staple of the straight male wank bank for generations. But the Fujoshi is turning her ship porn into something else entirely. While the general consensus for men who watch girls getting sexy together in a porno is that it stays in that context, the Fujoshi has perpetuated her sexual interest into a lifestyle, whereby a defining aspect of their personality is to really love the gays. And that's problematic. Like any other social group, gay men are not limited to one stereotype, and as autonomous individuals, they are just as diverse as the rest of us. So I have no idea what the Fujoshi means when she says that. Actually, as a side note, I'm pretty sure she just means she loves gay porn. So the reason this one-minded approach to any gay relationship is an issue is because, essentially, what the common Fujoshi has decided is that gay sex is always sexy, regardless of the context. It's attitudes like this that give rise to shipping severely problematic child-adult ships just because they're both male, which somehow makes it okay. Or fangirling over extremely abusive relationships just because both participants are male, where situations that would essentially be defined as rape are attributed to just being cute. A big culprit of this would be the killing stalking fandom, which I could do a whole nother video on. It's not that the story itself is problematic, because with the theme it's going to be dark and gruesome and gritty. No, the problem lies with the fangirls who, despite the obviously horrific situation the characters are in, no spoilers, choose to desperately ship the two male leads as a romantic couple just because it's hot. Simply, so far as I can tell, just because they're both male. There appears to be this tendency to warp any media concerning two attractive males to make it fit for straight female consumption. This generalization that if it's two guys, it's always good to go. And no, that's not how it should be. A relationship being gay does not give it a free pass to be as fucked up and problematic as it wants, while still passing as a qualifying romantic relationship. It doesn't work like that. even though that's how it seems to go in the Fujoshi world. And furthermore, stereotyping gay men or the gay male experience into something that can be transposed onto a straight female reader or viewer is essentially straight girls taking ownership of the gay male experience and making it about themselves, as though by creating and perpetuating these distorted caricatures for the pleasure of straight girls, they're somehow not contributing to a harmful stereotype, or warping the perceptions of other susceptible straight female viewers into believing that this kind of media is an accurate representation of gay men or homosexual relationships in general. And more often than not, it encourages the mentality that gay men, all gay men, even in the real world, are still somehow for the consumption of straight girls, resulting in the GBF, or derogatory treatment of gay males by actively shipping them in real life. Which, side note, is creepy as shit. So how do we fall into this trap of presenting gay male relationships as solely for the consumption of straight female viewers? Well, the majority of yaoi, BL, shonenai and what have you is created specifically for a female audience. More often than not by female writers and artists. There are genres of BL tailored more to a male audience like bara, but it's sort of a separate genre. Mainly, I think, because of how skewed the perception of homosexual relationships is in most mainstream yaoi. There's a tendency in yaoi to make one of the partners the girl, even to the extent where this is voiced by the characters in whatever media the story takes place. Essentially, it's giving the female readers a sort of self-insert where they can feel included in the relationship, like a perspective where they can involve themselves to better relate to it. Because of course, in the real world, by definition, homosexual relationships between two men don't involve women. And that's why subgenres like bara, which don't pander to the female audience by subverting it into something more ready for straight female consumption, aren't really popular among Fujoshi. Essentially, when the gay isn't for them, they're no longer interested or supportive of it. As a Fujoshi, I understand the basic interest. And I understand that the majority of Fujoshi start out as young girls, and so everyone requires time to grow and learn. And not everyone is going to be as aware of these issues depending on how they've been socialized, what they're exposed to, and so forth. And I get that on a basic level, shipping same-sex relationships isn't fundamentally problematic. It's pretty normal, so long as those same-sex relationships are treated with the same sort of respect and consideration as those relationships which are straight. Just because it's pornographic doesn't mean it's problematic. I do love yaoi and BL. It is a fairly active interest of mine, and even though I'm not hugely interested in shipping, I do totally understand that fangirl mentality. So I am, to an extent, sympathetic. But being aware of what I've already discussed, you have to understand that this genre does not revolve around us as Fujoshi. We can enjoy it and contribute to it and support it, but really, we have to be mindful that we're not shitting on someone's real-world sexuality by distorting or fetishizing it for our own entertainment without regard for anyone else. Even if you think it's a positive stereotype, it's still a stereotype. Essentially, what I'd like to boil it all down to is, if it's not hurting anyone, and by that I mean the continued glorification of or perpetuity of the themes and circumstances within a given media don't work to engender hate, discrimination, defamatory distortions or stereotypes, then yeah, sure, go for it. But when it comes down to those behaviours or interpretations of media which are, to use a broad term, problematic, then just take a second to check your behaviour and think about the wider implications of your actions and interests. It might take you a while to realise the negative impact you could be having, so just trying to be a little bit more self-aware and courteous, especially around a subject matter that actually really isn't about you, could really go a long way to ameliorate the perceptions that most people have about Fujoshi and Fujoshi culture. And that's about it for this video. Serious moment over. We can all return to normality now. If you're still here, thanks for watching and sticking through my rant. Hopefully if you are a Fujoshi, you don't fall into some of those issues I mentioned, and if you did, maybe this video was a little bit enlightening. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Remember to leave a like or a favourite if you enjoyed, And please feel free to leave comments. I'd love to get a response to this or open up conversation with you guys. As always, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye!